This week I got really, really anxious for a whole bunch of reasons. And as per usual, I did not notice how I was feeling until it was somaticized and my body started feeling weird. I was starting to feel unwell and my digestion was off and I was just not having a great time. And I have a few years of experience behind my belt of anxiety and feeling like shit. So I kind of caught myself early on and noticed it for what it was. And I just wanted to share what helps me in the hopes of helping you. I know this may sound a little harsh to say, but suffering is very selfish. Please bear with me. I know we don't mean to be selfish. I know we don't willingly act selfish. We don't want to be selfish. And I'm not saying we're selfish people, but suffering in of itself is selfish. And let me explain. Whenever you're really anxious or very depressed, or you're having these, intrusive thoughts and you're freaking out about them and you're, having health anxiety, name it, you're often focused on your body, your thoughts, your feelings, your state of being. And while that does have a time and place, and we need to allow periods where we do get to check in and with ourselves, and I think that's actually necessary. There's also a time where you need to call it quits and shift your focus outwards. I feel that anxiety is very inward focused, very me, myself, and I, my little problems, my little anxiety, my feelings, my hurt, my name it. You're looking in, you're very tense, you're very contracted. It's a very dense state of being. And over the years, I've actually tried to catch myself in those states and force myself open. And I know it's easier said than done, obviously. But I feel that that's, for me, what breaks the mold the easiest. I first recognize I'm not doing well because I have either somaticized it, I have physical symptoms of anxiety, or I just notice the anxiety itself. Once I do that, I take a moment, I allow myself some time to truly hone in on myself. When I do that, I don't just, have self-pity. I don't start saying, oh, this is horrible, look at this and that. I actually force myself to see anxiety for what it is. And usually it's an unmet need. It is something that scares us or that caused anger. Insert any unpleasant feeling. Our go-to is anxiety. And I feel that you do need to allow yourself to sit down and actually look at the true underlying feeling and actually feeling it, because the only way out is through, right? So I notice it. I notice the symptoms. I catch the pattern early on, and I allot a period of time throughout the day where I have nothing else to do but to sit in silence and feel what I need to feel. If it's feeling, maybe something got me really sad and I didn't like it and I'm afraid of feeling that way again, or I'm afraid of that person hurting me again, or I'm afraid of going through that situation again, and then I just get anxiety about it. I sit down, notice the anxiety, and then go deeper and then see it for what it is, which is in this case fear. And I sit with the fear. And I think that's a really hard thing to do, to sit and to truly let yourself fear what it is that you're fearing, or to truly let yourself be sad about whatever it is you're sad about, or to truly let yourself grieve whatever it is you need to grieve. It's a hard thing to go through, but I beg to argue that it's harder to go through 3 weeks of anxiety over it than a couple hours. So once I actually sit with it and I go through it and I don't overthink it and I don't try to intellectualize it, that's the hard part. You really have to just sit with yourself and not let yourself trying to analyze the feeling. You have to feel the feeling. You have to be scared. You have to be sad. You have to be angry. You can't think of, oh, this is angry and this is why, and that. You have to be the feeling. You have to fully immerse yourself with how you're feeling. And once you've allowed enough time for that to be processed, some things will take longer. If it's something really big, like grief, obviously this isn't going to happen overnight, and you will need to allow yourself like a good chunk of time to process and to be with the feeling. And that's not really what I'm touching upon today. I'm touching upon, more short-term situations. So what I like to do is what I said before, is to just sit with it and feel it. And once I've truly integrated that, I move my body. And that's so important. I feel that when we're anxious, we get into this very contracted state, and even our muscles get contracted, our train of thought gets very strict, and everything becomes very dense and unflexible, unwavering. And I feel that once you've felt your feeling, the next step is to untangle or undo that constricting aspect of anxiety. And I usually start with the body. I will let myself feel the feeling, and then I will move my body. It could be taking a simple walk. It could be just doing some breath work and stretching. It could be yoga. It could be some nice somatic movements, which I really, really love. It could be running. If you really feel that surge of, especially if you're angry, you feel that surge of adrenaline, you could be running. It could be, strength training. Also, when I'm very angry, when I found out that the underlying feeling is anger, I will strength train. It feels really good to me. It feels like I'm releasing that pent up energy to make it more malleable, to make it more relaxed, to make it stretched out and open up. Because as I keep saying, anxiety is a very constricted and inward focused feeling. You need to open yourself up, and you start from the body, and then you could go with the mind. Third step, get yourself out of yourself. Okay? You've opened up the body, you've loosened up the body. Now open up the mind and loosen the mind. How I like to go about that, I will either get really creative. I really like to do art. Even if you're bad at art, doesn't matter. Being creative, doing some art is very beneficial to your brain. It gets you in that, zone of not consistently thinking of negative things. It kind of shifts your focus to something else than yourself or whatever scares you. I also really make it a point to notice things. So when they say like, notice 5 things you're seeing, 4 things you're smelling, 3 things you're feeling. It's great, but I like to take it a step further and really take myself out of myself and focus on the natural world, if that makes any sense. I like to put my focus on the wind in the trees, and I hone in on the birds outside eating in my feeder, and I really look at each different color they have and how they interact with each other, and how cute they are when they fly away, and what sounds they're making, how they, get all excited after I put my feet out. And then, I like to notice the snow and how whenever there's a shadow, it gets a little more like blue, purple. Notice the different colors of bark, and put my hands in the soil and really feel that soil and have the satisfaction of slowly and progressively working at something. Planting something, tending to it, taking care of it, seeing it grow, noticing the shape it's taking and the sun going through it, or the sun on my skin, that warm feeling you get when you're outside or like in a window and you can feel that warm sun on your skin, and it's so soothing. Or whenever you're out at night and you actually take a minute to look up in the sky and look at the stars and the moon. Name it, anything of the natural world. I really like to make it a point to immerse myself in everything that is outside of me. I practice the art of noticing things. Anxiety, as I said before, is very inward focused, and we're trying to feel the feeling, move the body to loosen it, and then get the mind focused on something outside of ourselves. And I really think that's the key to getting better from anxiety. I feel that anxiety is this weird sweet spot between feeling the true underlying feelings and being present with them and going through them and doing the hard work, and tending to, noticing, helping, loving everything that is outside of us. It's like this middle ground that just keeps us stuck there, that keeps you always on the verge of going either way, but you can't really ever move from there until you've done the work and moved through it and out of it. I'm not saying to bypass by just focusing on something else. I am saying to do the work. You could also help people or volunteer at an animal shelter, or, just help someone at the grocery store with their groceries to carry them, name it. Tending to others, tending to nature, tending to the outside world is crucial for getting yourself out of yourself. You need to immerse yourself in things that are outside of yourself. And at first, that's going to be the hardest thing to do. I feel that with anxiety and OCD, we have this very narrow focus. We're very unwavering, not flexible at all. We stay very stuck and constricted, and you will fall as you try at first. It's very hard to get out of that feedback loop and to get out of that, hamster wheel. But once you pop yourself out of it and you figure out the key of doing so, and you're able to, whenever you fall back into it, just shift yourself out of it. And the more you do it, the more you'll get used to taking yourself out of yourself and taking a step back and being able to see things for what they truly are and not being solely focused on your own problems. Harder said than done, but doable. I've been battling OCD and anxiety for the past 38 years. And I'd say over the past 5 years, this is what I've been doing to get myself out of these ruts. And the more it happens to me and the more I practice this, the more I truly let go, allow myself to feel, understand that even though I feel like freezing in the moment and just staying there in my head, I need to move my body. I need to burn that anxious energy off. Once I've done that, and once I've, let go of some of that steam, I could, see things for what they are, and I could focus on things that are outside of myself. And once that loop gets going and I start to really be grateful and pay attention and notice and love things that are outside of me and get creative and fill a purpose, the anxiety kind of takes a step back because my needs have been met. If you would like more, tangible or concrete examples, I'd be happy to provide that. Just write me in the comments. I'll answer all of them for sure. And I hope you're well, and I hope that if you get anxious, you'll try this out and you'll try to just sit with the emotion and then force yourself up, move your body, and then go outside and touch some grass. Look, friends, I don't know if the camera's gonna focus on it, but I have these, I don't remember what they're called. I know they like spruce and conifer trees and whatnot, and they're very, very cool. Look at that. They're little antennae with the little orange tips. They're adorable. My gosh, I hope you could see this and it's zooming in on it because, God, I love them. I'm always happy when I see them. Anyways, I call them Steve. No reason to it. If I have 7 of them in the house, I have 7 Steves. Am I insane? Sure. Anyways, off you go, Steve, because if you stay on the ground, you're going to get squashed.